Hi, my name is Lindsay and today I'm presenting on my Module 7 UDL Library Evaluation. Today I went to the Central Rappahannock Library in downtown Fredericksburg. It is my local library and I have never actually been to the children's section before, so I wanted to check it out. I have been to the other libraries in the area, specifically England Run, when I was there for the Makers Lab, so I wanted to see how this one differed from that one since that one was newer. I've also talked about the England Run library in the past and kind of talked about their design for the Makers Lab, so I didn't want to repeat what I talked about in my last session. So I just want to introduce the library. I'm sure you know about it, but this is in downtown Fredericksburg, just like I said, and I just want to give you some pictures to show you what the library, the children's section, and all of that looks like upstairs. So there's different sections that I'm going to be talking about today that all kind of make up the whole library section for children. So you have the young adult section, which I don't have a picture of since I was really focusing on younger age. So they have the children's books right here. They have that section when you go up to the left. And here's another picture. So it kind of goes by ages. So here's the younger ages. They kind of group it different ways. And then they have a grow and learn area to play in, which is right here. And this has like a little block off area too to walk in the gate. Parents and their kids can be here. There were kids playing around, and there's Legos and different things for them to play with. No technology in here. This is just another place. This is the Makers Lab for this one. So the Makers Lab did not have any technology with it there today, but they had a few of these different games. And actually, here's the young adult section I was talking about. So this is the main area that people come in and they're greeted at the front desk. There's a few study areas that are incorporated in the library and throughout the children's section, and this is one of them. This is right between leading in from, like, say, ages 12 K through older, and you go over through a little hallway and you hit the younger age, which has books like this, like picture books and everything like that. And also there's little areas for them to study, like this, with adjustable tables, which I'll go into detail later. I always want to jump into that. And also computers for the children to access. Another thing is they have versatile seating. All these pictures, by the way, I asked for permission to take their picture. It was almost impossible not to get people in the picture since it was a public library and it was 5 o'clock. But this is just an example of the different seating they have throughout the library. And this is the younger section. And here's some of the books, just to show once again. So that's kind of the library. That it's on the second floor. Not when you walk in. It's actually, you have to go up some stairs or take the elevator. You're greeted by a receptionist, and then all those little rooms kind of are blocked off. I think there's about 4 of them. So you hit the main area that had the young adult, which I talked about, this area right here, and then you see the hallways. That's where you kind of go into the different rooms. So positive. Let's start with the positive. Always a good way to start. What did I find that kind of design that reminded me of the UDL inclusive AT? I would definitely say things like the adjustable tables. I did ask the library staff. They did show me these tables can be adjusted at any height. So say if you have someone coming in, a student coming in that has needs wheelchair accessibility, this is a great way. Or also different technology that requires them to sit at different levels. This is a great way to kind of have them be able to still use computers. They have all different levels throughout the place. They differ from these type that are not adjustable, but these ones are more used, they said, for technology. And these ones as well for the Makers Lab. I did speak to them about this as well, and they purposely did choose adjustable seating for the Makers Lounge as well, just to make sure that they can hit different heights of all students. So I think that's really important to remember. Those with mobility restrictions may need it lower. Those who also have mobility restrictions might need it higher. So I think that's something good to consider. I like the versatile seating. We kind of talked about this in, I think, Module 5. Wrong one, sorry. here we go. The versatile seating, they said they apparently chose that to kind of assist different children coming in who may want to sit or have to possibly, everything like that. So there is versatile seating that's a part of UDL. There's a lot of wide hallways. This I measured like with my body. I could measure two of me, like with my arms spread. So there's wide accessible hallway areas for the children to glance. And I did ask, and asked about the heights of books and everything like that. The librarian did say that they do try to have it at the most popular books more at level, but they also alphabetize, so it's kind of hard to do that sometimes. So they try to pull books to give a variety, which I think is kind of nice to have that that variety going on for children to kind of grab the books if needed. Also, something I didn't picture, I didn't have a chance to, is they do have audiobooks. I believe there's some over here, but there are audio versions of some of the books, more of the popular titles that are for rent that children can take home. So I think that's a great version for students to consider if they're trying to read a book and they may have auditory restrictions. Also, something I liked that was in more of the younger student sections. Um, I like how they have larger print for their labels to kind of tell the students what's there. Those with reading restrictions may need this to kind of see better, to give them a chance to kind of glance at what their options are. And I think that's really important, especially if you have people coming in that may have reading restrictions and, visual restrictions, like this, pets, and just different things. I think that's very imperative to have within a UDL setting to kind of hit the different needs of the different students coming in. So those are some of the positives that I listed. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any. Okay. I also think it's a positive that they do have technology through here. They did say that I asked if they have like Kindle versions of some of the books. They did say they're working on getting more digital versions of the books. Right now they're more just the physical, and they're working on more funding for different versatile seating, kind of like this. But for now it's mostly just the print that they have there. They did bring up they have some large print options, but not a lot. So that's definitely something I'll be talking about here in a second. So also, since going off the positives, let's kind of talk about the areas of improvement. While some of the hallways are very wide open, some of them, however, are not. This is an example. This is hard for me, honestly, to walk through just as a person, just as a grown adult. It's kind of restricted access. Also, this versatile seating is great, but around this area right here, there was restricted access as well, since it was so tight. So that could cause a problem for those who may have need more IT technology that may require mobility restrictions. So that can arise some problems. Also, just the book heights of some of the bookshelves. Like this is pretty accessible for any student, but if you have students who are older or anything like this, higher than this, like even for the young adult section, they're pretty high, and I have problems reaching some of the books because I'm just short in general. I think it's good to consider. So something more like this where it's you can spin it and everything, I think that's helpful. Also, some of the tables are not adjustable. However, they were more at kids' height. Once again, the mom's picture I took, she gave me permission. It's more at her height. It's at their height, but they're not adjustable like the other seating. And this is really all the seating they had available other than the ones I showed you that were more versatile. And this is what I was talking about when it's more restricted when you're going around. So while it's mostly an open concept, I won't lie as well. The Maker's Lab, for instance, like going back to some positives, is you can obviously adjust these tables, and there's some different dynamics that they can utilize for different students, but there are restrictions with it. And I think the same goes for, and here it's this girl, she built a fort, so it's understandable, but some of this area, like some of this is kind of blocked off by these different furniture that aren't very open, and that can cause some issues as well. So some areas of improvement that I would recommend, I would definitely recommend keeping an open floor plan like they have. Maybe adjusting some of the different bookcases to perhaps utilize more bookcases of this level. or using larger print so that um, students with visual restrictions may be able to find and locate things easier. I talked with the one librarian, and he brought up a good point that they like using these spinning versions because it gives people a chance to really kind of glance at them, and it's more at a level for students to see. A lot of younger adults like that. I do think maybe it's really be easy to get versatile seating and also more adjustable tables. I think those are very imperative. Also, I think it'd be very nice to have more audio book versions of things, just because I think that's a great avenue for students, and also maybe having more print. There's not a lot of technology involved within this library. I like compared to the England run, it was very interesting to see. Um, so I really think, but understandable. Like the cost can be pricey. So some suggestions would be, maybe even just having more references. The library said they're kind of working on more of a reference list to like accessing online text and readable text that outputs to them, having larger print books available, and maybe larger labeling like this. Um, and also maybe trying to implement more technology, like having search areas with iPads scattered throughout the library for students who may not be able to reach higher or visualize higher on the shelves and everything like that. So overall, keeping in mind the universal design that they're trying to keep, trying to make sure that everything and the needs are met of the students, and just going off of that. Once again, I am going to bring up my new job at the James Monroe Museum. I'm sorry. We don't have a library, but we have a little book section, and I did realize that it's not as accessible as I'd like it to be. If you can't tell right here, we have a little ledge. It's a great idea to incorporate kids, but we don't have a lot of large print text, and we don't have a lot of, a person with mobility restrictions would not be able to get into this area. We do have versatile seating. I say that very lightly, with the different seating we have here, but that's not even enough. And larger print would be important too, just for this, but also for the books. So I think moving forward, looking into different options, to having more diversity when it comes to the exhibit and the text that we offer, and the labels that we offer for children, definitely improving that, and that's something I am going to be helping with because of this class. So that's all I have for this. I hope you have a great spring break. I do apologize this was late, and I understand any partial credit I may get, and I hope you have a great night.